All right, YouTube, it's time to talk about the recent Jimmy Dore piece on Tucker Carlson. It kind of came off as a hit piece, so I'm just going to go ahead and dissect the story and give my take on it. Tucker Carlson is by far the highest rated cable anchor on news. That doesn't necessarily make him the most popular figure in news. I think that would probably be, honestly, somebody like PewDiePie with his own Pew News. I know it kind of started out as a joke, but it's really, a lot of people like it. And he's telling the truth, at least. And same with Tucker Carlson for the most part. There was one instance where Tucker Carlson kind of denied the existence of HARP, which kind of irked me a little bit, because there's actually data that, or documentation that proves that HARP is an actual program, so it's kind of like insulting your viewers, and most of them are the type of people that believe in that kind of stuff in HARP, so it was definitely a low point for my respect for Tucker Carlson. But anyways, beside the point, Jimmy Dore came out and basically was criticizing Tucker for claiming that he believes, or basically saying that he believes that the Democrats are going to try and orchestrate a coup against Trump. While that may not entirely be true, because I don't think it's necessarily as specific as Democrats, I think it's probably just the deep state in general. I mean, the deep state is a real thing. Let's not kid ourselves. It's filled with bureaucrats and careerists. So it's not necessarily Democrats, and that's kind of where I think Tucker loses a lot of his potential fan base, because he resorts to these partisan terms, Democrats and Republicans. If he turns out to be right, then I stand duly corrected, but until then, there's no proof. But the rhetoric is definitely there. They talk about how they don't want to impeach Trump because they feel like it'll bring chaos to the system. But they basically take every opportunity they can to basically add to their case why he should be impeached. So it's a very passive aggressive campaign that's being unleashed on him. And then, when I say passive-aggressive, there's the passive-aggressive attacks, but then there's also the more outright aggressive attacks, such as the, I feel like the coverage of Melania getting out of the hospital was, or at least being in the hospital was, they took advantage of that. They basically entertained their own conspiracy theories that Trump had her locked in a basement or some bullshit like that. I mean, so it was kind of interesting. Like, it was interesting to see, like, how poorly the media handled it. Okay, so going back to Jimmy Dore. The thing is that I like Jimmy Dore. He's a progressive. I don't agree with him on everything, but I like the fact that he's willing to attack his own party, essentially. I guess he's a Democrat. He's kind of a Democratic partisan who's willing to insult his own team, essentially, or his own party, which is nice. Well, it's part of the reason why I like him. But he's laughing at this idea, or at this accusation, as if it's just completely improbable. And for the most part, Tucker, what he's saying is very partisan, but there's some truth to it. There's definitely a power struggle between the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. And right now, the Republican Party is in complete control of all three chambers. So now, what's going to happen is that, obviously the Democrats are going to talk about impeachment because it makes sense to them. It makes sense to get the Republican out of office. Well, maybe not, because Mike Pence is going to be next in line. And then who knows after that, because Paul Ryan's going to be retiring. He's going to be the next Speaker of House. If Kevin McCarthy becomes Speaker of the House, which I think he might, he's going to be the third in line, and that's not going to be great for the Never Trumpers either, because you impeach Pence, you're going to get McCarthy. So you're kind of in a rock and a hard place there. The thing that I have a problem with Jimmy Dore is that based off his own commentary, he has accused, or at least he's seen the evidence that the DNC was involved in a massive cover-up with the Seth Rich murder, and also with the Bernie results in the primaries. There's obviously deep corruption that goes on at the DNC. So for Jimmy Dore to basically dismiss this because it's Tucker Carlson throwing these accusations around, it's a partisan double standard, really, because if the Democrats can do it to Bernie, they will do it to Trump. Don't get me wrong, I completely believe that, and this is coming from someone who tries to be as nonpartisan as possible. It's common sense. Like, if Bernie is an existential threat to the Democratic Party, which he was, they're going to want to get rid of him because he's not the He's not the typical corporate Democrat. Actually, I don't know. Someone could probably correct me on that. In fact, I actually heard that Bernie owns like 3 houses and like made over like $1 million last year. So he's probably not like the best example. Like he's probably like a do as I say, not as I do kind of guy, which is kind of how most politicians are. Even Trump, for that matter. You know, Trump is kind of surrounding themselves with these evangelicals while he himself is kind of a heathen. I mean, he doesn't necessarily lead a very saint-like life. He's very, like, he's a playboy. And he's got a smoking hot wife, so that really, I mean, that's probably not a fair point, but no, but he's, you know, he's not a Christian by any means, I don't think so. I think he simply panders to them because he knows that their vote is very important, especially in middle America. Anyways, just going back to Jimmy Dore, though, I think it's kind of ridiculous. Like, the fact that, like, he had commentators on that he got rid of that really beautiful girl, the miserable liberal, and replaced her with, like, some old white guy. And the irony of me saying that is that this old white guy was like basically railing on Tucker for being white. See the irony? It is so stupid. It's like, why do people do this racist shit where they're like getting on each other for the color of their skin? I just did it, unfortunately, so I'm not going to go ahead and say that I'm immune to such malpractices. But look, let's just go ahead and say that Jimmy Dore is maybe half right. Maybe Tucker Carlson is wrong about the fact that it's just the Democrats. It's probably the Republicans too, but he's probably not allowed to say that because he's on Fox, and he well knows. You know, he knows that. He's already pushed the envelope with the Syria coverage. So this is kind of an incoherent rant. I thank you guys for tuning in. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think that Jimmy Dore is right, or do you think that Tucker Carlson is right? Do you not like either of them? Do you like both of them? Let me know. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. I really appreciate your feedback. I always read the comments. All right, peace.